with the bus allowed for young families that needed to wheel on with strollers to get on and off easily. It also allowed Princeton's increasing elderly population, who some also needed to use wheels, to get on and off. And this gentleman told us that previously he really felt trapped at times in Princeton, but now he had the ability to catch the dinky and to actually live a life with greater independence, freedom, and dignity. Okay, back on, and we're heading to our next stop, down at the Tree Streets.
Just moved into Pine Street back in February of 2020, and the best thing is when I get home from work, I can stop off at the local grocer, pick up some milk, maybe some dinner, and I can also stop back because it's right close to home as our neighborhood center and drop off my shoes to get them repaired. The local cobbler. And the best thing is these are my neighbors that run these local businesses. These are my friends and my community members that I can share and commerce with them and improve the whole area.
Just think, 20 years ago, this West Coast Video Olive May site was an uninviting expanse of asphalt with large setbacks and minimal interaction with the street. And today, it's a vibrant neighborhood center with a mix of uses and flexible green community space.
So imagine if there was a shared space, like we talked about earlier, where not only cars, but pedestrians and bikers can all share the space all at once. They don't have to fight over it. And the buildings spill into this area. I don't have to be scared that when I'm coming out of the storefront, I'm going to be hit by a car. And this creates a nice synergy for the livelihood of the neighborhood.
And another nice thing about the Tree Streets neighborhood square is that the farmers market that used to meet on this drab gray parking lot now has a green community space that is more spacious, is more relaxing, green and inviting, and you can have other events there. 4th of July cookouts, Founders Day, Memorial Day celebration. And what we've seen in this whole site is a gradient between the public space and the private space. And that idea is integrated into the buildings that surround it. That we have balconies on the 2nd floor and above, where residents who live above those small stores, the cobbler and the local food store, can just sit out on a nice summer day, have a glass of lemonade, and just enjoy the space and look over the events that are happening below. And what we've seen just in the past 10 years is that this site, which used to have an abandoned West Coast Video building and an abandoned Olive May grocery store, poorly utilized parking, lots of great space, has become this, a nice community neighborhood square with buildings that integrate well into the surrounding area, are stepped back, reasonable size, and cater to a bus stop right on the edge of the square.
Okay, we're going to hop back aboard, and this time we're going to turn on Nassau onto Harrison, and we're going to head over towards the shopping center.
Welcome to the Harrison Shopping Center. This is what it looked like way back when you used the
Mike?
Welcome to the Harrison Shopping Center. Back in 2010, it was just a green oasis surrounded by a sea of parking. And a close-in, what if the green space could be extended out to the street? And this great shopping center could be a place for everyone to go. What if we take this sea of parking and it's transformed into a flower shop or an outdoor cafe? Great plaza. What if we create a safe place for teenagers to go and hang out? Maybe a bowling alley.
You saw this image for the first time. If you saw this image for the first time, you wouldn't recognize it's the supermarket.
What if we take the blank walls and the cafeterias and activate the space with an outdoor group scan? It's 2020 and the storefronts of the shopping center are inviting and welcoming. And you can't believe that it was only 10 years ago that the Harrison Shopping Center looked like this.
So we're going to hop back aboard the Dinky over on Harrison Street. And this time, we're going to head over towards Witherspoon Square. Whoop, actually, that was wrong. Before we got there, before we get to Witherspoon Square, actually, we found that the educators in Princeton latched on to the powerful idea of mobility. And in fact, they reached out and realized that the way to really get the community to move differently was to reach to kids. So there was an effort to go to the child care centers, to the preschools, to the early education grades, to get classes to ride the Dinky, to get kids comfortable with it. And all of that led to kids who love the Dinky then coming home and urging their parents to leave the SUV in the driveway and take the Dinky downtown, take the Dinky to the library, and on days like today, even take the Dinky to Little League games. The other thing that happened in town was that the healthcare community picked up on the fact that this was an incredible opportunity. As Tony Nelson taught me, every transit rider begins and ends their trip on foot or on bike. And so the groups like the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, which had been trying to promote healthy communities by design across the nation for decades, now had a national model right here in their own backyard. Now we're at Witherspoon.
Howdy. So, myself and my peers, Keith and Dan, decided to go back to our old stomping grounds over at the Princeton Medical Center, which had now moved actually across Route 1 for new, advanced, highly anticipated complex. We were greatly surprised, shock and awe, pure shock and awe, to come back and find that once was a single-use area that didn't really integrate with the community had become this public plaza, this space that had mixed-use development, encouraged community activities, and really got involved as a neighborhood center.
Hard to believe it once used to look just like this. And likewise, as you walk up and down Witherspoon Street, you notice that a lot of the properties and buildings at the corner locations were inactive and underutilized. And likewise, they've been transformed into the defining features, urban design features of the neighborhood.
And we found that we don't really miss the days when Witherspoon was could be unsafe for pedestrians and bikers. You'd find that vehicles would come barreling down the street and pedestrians were kind of more or less left to the sidewalk to try to stay out of harm's way. So now we're transforming it into shared space, and it really gives the street back to pedestrians. So we're taking the pavement, the texture from the plaza, pulling it out onto the street, and it gets motorists thinking that they're entering a pedestrian realm, and hopefully just reduces speeds and accidents and injuries and makes it a safer place for everyone.